And then, there you go. No, it's great. Let's talk more about the draft now. Heisman winner DeVonta Smith continued to defend his slender frame yesterday. He said, quote, "Hey, we're not weightlifting. We're not bodybuilders." Brandon, DeVonta Smith's response to all the talk about his weight is blank.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I love this. It sounded like it came from a savvy veteran, you know, that understands the media and how to approach it, you know, and listening to this dude, man, it just makes all the sense in the world because he's right. You know, LeVar was on the show last week and he talked about, well, you're 166 pounds and, you know, that's just going to, you know, be brutal for his body, etc. Well, there's a lot of guys that's 250 pounds, 300 pounds in the National Football League who come in, who look like Tarzan and play like Jane. So that doesn't matter how big you are. Can you produce? Can you play the game? And at the wide receiver position, do you have the vision? When you're coming across the middle, do you see the safety coming down? Do you feel that? Are you capable of making a move in midair? Are you capable of, soon as your feet hit the ground, can you get down or can you make a move? He's shown that at the highest level. This is the Heisman winner, Nick. 1,800 yards, 23 touchdowns in the SEC. It takes a lot to get that done.
Yeah, that's all true. The only way that take could have been delivered better is if Brandon did it shirtless and you would have seen, oh, wait, they are actually bodybuilders.
Get a handwritten note.
Oh, wait, this is literally inaccurate. Because, guys, not only are NFL players these days bodybuilders, they are inventing new ways to bodybuild. Derrick Henry's like, hey, watch me on this ball and this resistance band with a chain around my neck. And then someone's like, oh, let me one-up you. I'm not saying DeVonta Smith can't be great. Marvin Harrison was very thin, slight frame, first ballot Hall of Fame caliber player. So I'm not saying that this means he won't be great. But the statement's wrong. Like, he will be an outlier because the most of the league actually are bodybuilders, Wilds. Most of them are.
It's not
most
true.
of them are closer to Brandon than DeVonta Smith.
It's not true. Spent 13 years in a locker room, and it's just not true. There's a lot of bad body guys. Like, you'll come in and you'll be surprised. A lot of guys are just bad body at all the positions. It's not true.
Bad body. Brandon, would that come out like you got a bad body? Come on over to house.
Yeah, you say it. You see a guy, you tell him, bro, go lift weights, bad body. You tell him right away.
Bro, go lift weights.
Bad body.
It's like high school. Like, oh, you're 14-year-olds. How about you go lift weights? Go lift weights, nerd. We're in the NFL. Hey, shout out to Mr. Natural, Minnesota, Greg Jennings. Talk about wide receivers who are bodybuilders. This guy just literally took it the whole way. So bad news, Greg Jennings. You got to stop your bodybuilding career courtesy of Davante Adams. No more bodybuilding for you for a wide receiver.
Oh, my goodness.
Touche. All right, let's talk about Justin Fields. So Chris Sims' latest mock has Fields falling all the way to the Super Bowl champion Bucs at the end of the first round. Remember, he was once slated as high as 2. This has him falling to 32. Brandon, the idea that Fields could fall to the Bucs at 32 is blank.
Yeah, curious. I think we all should approach this with curiosity. You know, and listen, I've been playing phone tag with him because I want to get his thoughts and I'm trying to get into his brain of why he said this and why he has him at 32. Now, the sentiment is that Justin Fields is sliding. And the reason why this is curious is because there's some guys out there that does work. There's some guys out there that really know the game and they are connected to people in the National Football League. And they understand the process and respect the process. That's Chris Sims. Chris Sims is a guy that, you know, has a crazy work ethic. His workload is tremendous. He's talking to everybody, and he's not just putting stuff out there to make headlines. That is not Chris Sims. He says crazy things all the time, but he believes it, and then he can back it up with points, whether you agree with him or not. So you should be curious here because this is telling me that my friend, my buddy, he knows something that we don't know, and this is alarming.
Well, tell your friend and your buddy that your other friend and buddy, Nick Wright, is envious and thinks this is brilliant. Because right now, we are in an oversaturation of mock drafts. And how do you, in the 48 hours before the draft, get your mock draft to the top of the media pile? Well, you can't go quite as far as to be like, I'll tell you who the Bucs are going to take at 32. Air Bud. You remember that golden retriever? Dude was amazing. Heard Brady loves him. Like, no people will take that seriously. That's a step too far. But Justin Fields, who we started the show with, Patriots trading into the top 10 to get him. And now it's like, by the way, he might be a day 2 pick. Brilliant, Sims. Well done, sir. As a take aficionado, I respect it. Well done, Chris Sims.
Okay, my answer was Bears safety net. There's no way that Justin Fields, a Midwestern guy, falls below 20. And I don't know where Kanye is right now. Maybe he's in LA, maybe he's in Colorado. But if Chicago's own Kanye West hears that the Chicago Bears are on the podium and select someone other than Justin Fields at 20, if he's available, he needs to pull the old Taylor Swift and bum rush the stage and say, I'm sorry, we picked whoever, Micah Parsons, but our real pick is Justin Fields at 20, and that will count. That will be an official draft pick if Kanye is able to go up there, John.
I agree. Kanye's got a lot
Between
going on.
Kanye and Air.
Google top cities in the United States. They're not top 20. They're not top 30. And then also, you know, as an aging player, there's a few things you're looking for. Championship and money. Well, money, he has the money. He's been making a lot of money for a long time, and he'll continue to do that wherever he goes. And then championship, you have no opportunity to win a championship. To me, that should be the only thing on Julio Jones' mind, or top of mind, is where can I go now to solidify my legacy and win a championship? And I just don't see that happening in Jacksonville. So Trevor Lawrence should be nervous, Nick, because he'll have a wide receiver there in the huddle knowing, like, man, he really doesn't want to be here. He don't want to play with me. So nervous.
Listen, while all of us agree with you that when you Google top American cities, Jacksonville is not listed, the rest of your commentary I have to take slight issue with. If Trevor Lawrence is the next John Elway generational prospect, then they become a contender by getting him. And while Julio, it might not be at the top of his list, I don't think Atlanta's going to trade him somewhere that he says, I won't report to. So if this were to happen, then he must sign off on it. I said he should feel elated if this happens, not only because Julio's great, but Julio is the exact type of receiver a young quarterback would want. No diva to him, a great team guy, and a great leader for the entire wide receiver room. It's very hard to find another receiver in the league that would be better to fit with a young star rookie quarterback.
Well, let me ask you a question.
So for all those reasons, yes, please, ask away. What up, Brandon?
How many more years does Julio have left in him? So he's going to go there and wait for Trevor Lawrence to develop? Like, we don't know if Trevor Lawrence, we know his upside, we know his skill set, but that could take years, Nick. So how many more years do you think Julio has in him?
Oh, let's say Julio's got 4 more years. I guess I would say, with the way I look at Lawrence, I think in today's NFL, year 2, these guys can compete for Super Bowls. Year 2, Mahomes won the MVP. Year 2, Russell Wilson won the Super Bowl. Year 2, we saw Andrew Luck's team win 11 games. Like, I think year 2, you're ready to win, Wilds, if you're as good as people say Trevor Lawrence is.
See, my original answer, Nick, was best in the division. I was like, oh, probably better than Carson Wentz and T.Y. Hilton, and probably better than A.J. Brown and Tannehill. But after hearing Brandon, who dabbles in multiple things, dabbles in a little supplements, a House of Athlete, dabbles in podcasts, dabbles in being a football analyst on this show, also dabbles in being a terrible reporter. Not because the facts are terrible, but he like hides his reporting. So when he says things like, I know people and I've heard things, and Julio Jones doesn't want to go to Jacksonville, okay, I don't think this is happening anymore, courtesy of Brandon, one of the foremost football journalists in America.
It's a great take.
Who doesn't know it?
I haven't